Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Today's flavor is Maud's chocolate, raspberry chocolate. Almost forgot what I put in there. And it's going to be a high of 76. So I really need to get out there and cover up my furniture, because next week it's going to be in the 60s and even a couple days in the 50s. So getting a little bit chilly. Time to finish up all the chores out there. There aren't many left. There's a couple. But yeah, I haven't been in the mood for working in the garden since there's not much left out there. The tomatoes are done, the peppers are done. There's some lettuce growing, some kale, and some chard, so that's good. I can still eat that. And it's getting to be soup weather. So that'll be a nice way to clean out my freezer and my fridge, is just by finding things in there that I can make a soup out of. And I can make a couple extra meals so I don't have to cook every day. So that would be just great. So I'm using the same mug that I used yesterday that I got at Mark's for $1.99. And I'm happy with that. I like the colors. Orange is my favorite. I like the muted oranges. And so that's why I got it. Did I need another mug? Oh no, I did not need another mug. But, you know, people collect things. And I guess I collect mugs. So I didn't collect mugs before I started this YouTube channel and my morning coffee chat, because I thought it might be nice to look at some different mugs rather than the same mugs all the time, because I always used to use the same mug. I had two of them, and that's basically what I used. Not that I didn't have other mugs, but I didn't have that many. And now I have a whole cupboard full of mugs. So, and I know a lot of people have, you collect things like, yarn and craft supplies and all kinds of things. We humans are gatherers of things. At least a lot of us are. Some of us not so much. We like everything nice and streamlined and not much to keep clean. But, yeah, we're all different, so we all do different things. Not one is right and not one is wrong. We're just different. And as long as we're not hurting anybody else with the things that we do, then we should carry on. Because that's part of what makes life fun and interesting. The little candle is not wiggling. I think it needs a new battery. There it goes. This is one of those motion candles. There it goes. I like those. You get the ambiance of a candle without the heat. So cheers. Although this time of the year we could use the heat because it's really chilly out there this morning, only in the 50s. Ooh, very hot. I think I need just a splash more. This creamer's almost empty. So, anyway, I don't know what I'm doing today. We'll see. I mean, if I clean out my garage when it gets chillier, I can always wear a jacket because, you don't have the wind blowing and all that. And I have heaters I can put out there, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I do have to start working on that. I got a lot of the garage cleaned up late spring, early summer, but it's got a lot of boxes out there. One of my viewers was asking about the pizza oven, had I used it yet. It's not even out of the box. My thought was to put it outside like a barbecue grill and then cover it. But I thought, well, why put it out there for the winter time? So I think I'm just going to maybe put it together at some point and leave it in the garage. Maybe I can put it on a wheeled cart or something. I don't know, we'll see. When I get out there to clean the garage, we'll see. So, okay, I will meet you over there at the budget book. Okay, here I am back at the budget book. Well, yesterday I did not spend any money. I stayed home and I thought, is there anything else I need for prepping? And I came up with, nope, I think I'm good. I've got enough to sustain me if we have a power outage, even if it's for a week. Although sometime this week, if my daughter goes to Costco, I'll go with her and get one more bag of dog food and also another 20-pound container of propane. So then I will be all set, I think. I can't think of anything else. I've got little rechargeable appliances like a blender, and I've got things to make coffee in a power outage, to cook. I've got some heat options. I've got the generator now, which will be a game changer once I learn how to use it. So I think I'm good, and unless my whole house gets destroyed or the basement, then I should be good for a while anyway. So yeah, it's kind of a good feeling to know that you can be a little self-sufficient, because as we see, our government is not coming to help these poor people that were so devastated by Hurricane Helene. Offering to give our poor citizens $750 in relief money is absolutely ludicrous. So that's my opinion, and it's got nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the state of our world. But anyway, I digress. Moving on. So I have enough food to eat in the fridge. I just bought some lettuce, and what else did I buy? Oh, I bought some celery, but not much else. I didn't buy any other things. I just bought some produce, and then I'm waiting for the garden vegetables, the kale, the chard, and the lettuce to grow a little bigger before I start harvesting it. But I do have to harvest my herbs and start drying those. So, but I have other things that I have to do first. So it's still a busy time of the year for me. You know, in the spring you spend a lot of time getting the garden ready and planting your seeds, and then this time of the year you spend a lot of time taking the garden down and, you know, harvesting whatever. Now I could sow some seeds now because I have little greenhouses that fit over my containers, and I might do that, and that will probably take me into December, unless we have a really a lot of snow. I don't know. I've heard both things, that the winter is going to be a tough one, and I've also heard that it's going to be not so bad. But you know, there's an old I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or whatever it is, but the berries on one of the trees in front of the house on the cul-de-sac, it is loaded with berries. So I don't know if that is an indicator of a harsh winter, but that's what I've heard. So I don't know, if you know anything about that, let me know in the comments below. So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to keep things positive here on the channel, but the bad news just keeps on flowing. So, say your prayers and hope that things improve. So, okay, well, that's it for my budget today. I'm not planning on spending any money, but you never know. Sometimes things come up. All right, let's have some morning coffee together. Cheers. So apparently the longshoremen have decided to postpone their strike until after January 6th, I think. Well, January anyway. So it's not over, but it's over for now, and they'll revisit it. So at least they're not going to further devastate our country, because that would just not be cool. I mean, come on, people. The rest of us have to live on what we've got, especially for seniors and people that are on disability and all that. We only get so much money and we have to keep stretching it. So is this really a time to go on strike? I would say no. So anyway, I was looking at my AAA motorist. I belong to AAA. I've belonged to AAA forever. I got it when I was traveling around as a nurse to my different facilities. And the nice thing is I can also have my grandson on it for a little bit extra. So that's what I've been doing. And I think as a single woman, I think it's, well, of course, the price has gone up. Used to be $75, and now it's like $100 maybe. I don't know. You'd have to check and see. But I think for a single woman, it's probably a good thing to have, because I have used them in the past. They'll come to your house if you have a flat tire or you can't start your car, and they'll send somebody out. Of course, you have to wait for their schedule, and even unless they've changed things, even if you are traveling with somebody else in their car and they have a problem, you can call AAA. So anyway, I was just looking at the flyer that they send once a month, and I came across this, and it's train travel in the Canadian Rockies. And as a young woman, I did travel by train. I went with my aunt and my cousin. Her husband was Serbian, and we traveled from Cologne all the way to Belgrade and to a little town in Yugoslavia called Udovica. And it was really a beautiful trip. It went through the Swiss Alps, and you had all these little villages peppered throughout the mountains, and it was along the Danube River. It was absolutely breathtaking. I think I was around 12 at the time, and but they had outhouse. You washed in a pitcher and a bowl. It was pretty primitive back then. So yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful train trip. And in Europe, I don't know if it's still that way. I haven't been there in many years, but train travel was very popular. And the times where we traveled from here to, we took, can't remember what ship it was. But anyway, we went by ship the first couple times, and then we flew to go visit my grandparents. And we took the train from Paris. No, it was from Le Havre, however you pronounce it, to Cologne. Well, that was a train trip, but that wasn't overnight. That was just a train trip. But the trip we took from Cologne to Yugoslavia, that was overnight, and it was really nice. And I've always really liked to travel by train. So I thought, well, that'd be a nice way to see the country. Well, the trips, one leaves May 25th through June 1st, So it's 5 days, $8,000. It's like, what? That won't be happening. But I would consider a trip like that at some point. Who knows? But anyway, that's what I found this morning. So, yeah, let me take a pause. I wanted to say something, and senior moment, it went out of my head. Okay, well, I wanted to talk a little bit about inspiration and motivation and, you know, things along those lines. And lately, I have been feeling like I can't even describe the feeling. It's like you can't get going, you can't get motivated. And I think that happens sometimes when you have a lot of things that are thrown at you at one time. And that's kind of how I've been feeling, and I need to get past that. And so I found a couple motivational quotes from people here that I need to read a little more often, because when I start feeling like that, I have to have a come to Jesus meeting with myself, and I do involve talking to God about it. And I have to talk myself into staying motivated. You know, when everything is like, oh, there's just so much, you just have to kind of, you know, take it one step at a time. Now, my house has always been very organized. You know, I mean, I'm not the world's best housekeeper. I hate cleaning, but everything was always neat. Even though I have a lot of stuff, you know, I kind of lean towards the maximalist end of the spectrum. But my house was always neat. You could look in my cupboards and they were neatly organized. I knew where everything was. But lately, it's like home repairs, and you have to tear things apart to get new windows. You have to, you know, it's constant moving and juggling things around because this has to be done or that has to be done. And of course, the big disaster was the mouse problem, that once we finally realized we had a problem, you know, it had already multiplied. So in the basement and in the garage, they made a big mess. So I know you guys are sick of hearing about the mice. I think it's resolved now, but I had to get an exterminator involved. I had to do, you know, checking and exterminating and all that stuff. And I tried to capture and take them for a ride if I could. I did that a few times, but that kind of tore my whole house apart. And then also moving my grandson from the basement where he had all his stuff for work, because he works from home most of the time. And we moved, well, he and his brothers moved everything upstairs, which meant we had to pull everything out of the one bedroom. And that stuff is still, you know, in this room and in the basement, and it's just one big mess. So sometimes when all these things go on, you know, and then if you have some health problems on top of it, so that you don't always feel 100% every day, it gets really complicated. And I mean, it hasn't gotten to the point where, you know, it's an episode of Hoarders, but it's just a mess. Now, my cupboards and stuff, they're still in good shape, you know, throughout most of the house. That's not an issue. But I have all this stuff that used to have a home at a certain place that now doesn't have a home, that I have to go through, either get rid of or find it a new home. So anyway, let me read a couple of quotes here, and hopefully it'll motivate me a little bit, and maybe it'll motivate you. Okay, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. And that's by Henry Ford. And then, I think I've read this one before, but I need to hear it again. People often become what they believe themselves to be. If I believe I cannot do something, it makes me incapable of doing it. But when I believe I can, then I acquire the ability to do it even if I didn't have it in the beginning. So, and that's by Mahatma Gandhi. So I think we have to remind ourselves that Rome wasn't built in a day, and we might need to take the steps first on paper to organize it in our head. Get it on paper, make yourself the steps you need to take, probably going from, what is the biggest priority here? Now for me right now, it's getting my garage finished. Now I had started that project and I have to finish it, but there's still quite a bit to do out there. And then during the summer I had ordered fencing and some other things for the garden. I have a potting bench out there that's been out there in a box for probably about 3 years. I have my greenhouse, my pop-up greenhouse. Again, it's never been used, but I had planned to use it this year, but then life happened and, I just didn't get around to it. So I have all these random things out there that I have to organize till next spring to make some room. I have the new generator that I need to put somewhere where that I can get it outside easily enough. I mean, I think I have to put the wheels on it because it's pretty big, and it comes with wheels and a handle so you can pull it. There's just a lot out there that needs to be organized, and some of it is still in boxes, like my pizza oven. So, but these are all things that I want to use for prepping if I need to, or just for fun. I'd like to make an outdoor kitchen on my deck, so the pizza oven will be going out there, but there's no point to putting it out now with winter coming. So that's the first thing I have to do after I put the garden to bed, is the garage, so that I can get my car in there over the winter. So, yeah, sometimes when we get it feels heavy. I don't know if you know the feeling, but it feels heavy. And so I think putting it on paper, I'm going to do that this morning, will be very helpful. And then taking the steps and actually working on it a little bit every day. I could take a week and work out in the garage doing a little bit every day and the chore would be done. But getting the motivation sometimes isn't that easy. You have to have a lot of conversations with yourself and asking for divine help helps. So, okay, well, that's what I wanted to talk about this morning. I'm sure a lot of us are feeling that way, especially with the economy the way it is and all the turmoil in the world. It's hard to stay on a positive page, but we have to do that. We have to have faith that these things will pass. You have to tell yourself this too shall pass, and it does. Sometimes it's not always on our timeline, and just keep the faith and pray that things will resolve quickly and for the better, for our better. So, okay, well, that's my morning chat, and I'm going to drink my coffee and make myself a little list about what I need to do to carry on in my garage. All right, this morning I pulled some more leftovers out of the fridge. Now I had a pizza that I made from Costco. It was their Costco pizza that comes frozen. I think there's 4 in a box. It was like $11 and something. Pretty good deal. And I doctored it up. I put extra cheese on, some vegan ham, peppers, and mushrooms. So this is the last piece I have left. And I actually got 3 meals out of 1 pizza. One day I ate 2 pieces. Yesterday I had 1 piece with a nice salad, and today I'm going to have a breakfast pizza. So I have 1 egg. I'm going to add some garlic, salt, and some pepper to the egg. But first I'm going to melt a little butter in the pan and add the pizza with a lid, and that'll crunch it up on the bottom. Keep an eye on it, and then after that I'm going to scramble the egg and add it to the pizza. So I'll be back in a little bit and show you how this turned out. So I'm making breakfast here, and my little buddies are almost always with me in the kitchen, keeping me company. And I'm sure they're hoping for a little snack every now and then, which they get. They love carrots and vegetables, and yeah, so we hang out in the kitchen a lot. Okay, well, here's this morning's breakfast, my leftover pizza. I added some of the egg on top, and I put a little bit of Italian seasoning in with the egg when I scrambled it, and also a little bit of the breakfast dessert casserole that I made yesterday with the flaky biscuits and some of the strawberry pie filling that I had. And that was really, really good and so simple. I will definitely make that again. You can use that either for a dessert or for a breakfast casserole. So if you have leftover pizza, you can always eat it for breakfast with an egg. And I know some people like cold pizza for breakfast, and that's delicious too. So stretching my meals, like I said, I got 3 meals out of 1 pizza, and it wasn't a huge pizza. It was maybe 12 inches. I don't know. But anyway, use what you have and save a lot of money. Well, I just got back from my daughter's house. I went over there to help her out a little bit. They're doing a lot of things to their house now, so she's got a lot going on over there, and she's kind of stressed. I don't blame her. So I went over and helped her out a little bit. Had a short little visit and then came back home. So I still haven't done my garage. Oh, bad girl. But I did go out there and I did assess the situation. So that's a step in the right direction. So I have to get some of those things out of the boxes and set up, and some of the things moved over that I'm not going to unbox until next spring. But I won't have to spend much on the garden next spring at all, except for some dirt. And I have plenty of fertilizer, and I'll probably just need some fresh potting soil. And that's pretty much it. Everything else, oh, and maybe some start plants, but I am going to try and do the winter sowing again. So we'll see how that turns out this time. Last time it worked out pretty well. So, yeah, anyway, that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like.
It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.